and it's time for another giveaway. And with Money in the Bank taking place next month, we're going to do something a bit differently here. Up for grabs this time around is an official Money in the Bank briefcase. This is the green plastic variation. Thank you very much to Scott Welsh, who presented this as part of this giveaway. Thank you very much, Scott. I greatly appreciate it. Now, this briefcase has been signed on the inside by Bron Breakker, Nia Jax, and Santos Escobar. If you wish to gain entry into this free giveaway, it's open worldwide as usual. To gain entry into the draw, all you've got to do is make sure you're subscribed to the Hazard F5 YouTube channel. Go to the video in the pinned comment section below, like that video and comment on that video with your favorite Money in the Bank cash-in of all time, and that will gain you entry into the draw. Of course, as usual, members of my Patreon over at patreon.com/hazardf5 do gain additional entries depending on what payment tier they are on. The draw will take place on the Monday night following the Money in the Bank Premium Live event. Good luck to everyone. What's up, YouTubers? This is Hazard F5 back with a brand new video, and today is the first YouTube edition of Battle of the Belts. This is actually a video comparison series that I launched early this year over on Patreon, where I do a direct in-hand comparison between two belts, looking at everything from artwork, etching, plating, paintwork, leatherwork, stonework, accuracy, and everything else in between. Now, these two belts that I compare in these Battle of the Belts videos can be two replica belts like the ones we're taking a look at today, or a future video that I'll be doing very soon between the blue Big Eagle WWE Shop replica and the new white scratch logo black strap Big Eagle WWE Shop replica to see which one's better and which one gives you more bang for your buck. They can also be a replica and a real belt. They can be two belts with very similar design aspects. They can be two belts that actually have a history with one another, with one being the original design that was on television and one being its replacement, or they could be two belts with the same design made by different makers. Now, today we're going to take a look at probably one of the most divisive WWE Championship designs in all of wrestling history, that being the more modern big logo belt. We're going to take a look at my 2014 big logo belt that has been customized, restoned and re-leathered with a blue AJ style Smackdown motif, and the standard current undisputed WWE Championship that was just won by John Cena at WrestleMania 41. Now, this one is the standard stock replica. This one is fully loaded. And in this video, you can see a difference between the quality of the stonework on modern WWE replica belts and what it looks like to have them restoned. Now, before I get into it, the stones on the more modern replicas like this one are a vast improvement than the stones that were used in 2014. However, they still do not compare, in my opinion, to the stock stones on an AEW replica belt, or certainly Swarovski crystals or cubic zirconia. But anyway, let's get into it. And here we have two variations of the big logo design. We've got the standard customized variant from the 2014 release, and we've got the undisputed release. So let's get into it. This comparison is mainly going to be on the plates themselves. This one is fully restoned and re-leathered. Obviously, it's got a custom banner as well. This is your general stock one. We're also going to be comparing the straps, a real leather strap to your standard WWE shop strap, but a strap that I've seen a number of people say is the best strap that WWE has ever produced as far as replica goes. So let's get into it. So I'll start off at the top of the main plate. So you've got the restoned variant. The overall artwork for these two belts is generally the same. There are a couple of tweaks. One of them you can see from the get-go. The border going around the base plate is single layer, so it only mimics a 2-layer variation. Whereas on the undisputed version, you've got 4 steps, 4 stages going down the side, so it gives it a much wider look to the championship belt. Obviously this one reads Undisputed Champion, Underneath this, it reads World Heavyweight Champion from the 2014 release, but this is an epoxy resin banner that I was gifted by a subscriber who knew I was an AJ Styles fan and commissioned this from Belt Addiction back in the day, which I really, really appreciate. It gives it a very different look. On this version, you've got the red epoxy resin style swoosh going from one side to the other, whereas on my version I've got blue reflective metallic strips covering up the red swoosh. As this is an AJ Styles themed customization and he was on the blue brand at the time, blue was more fitting to me, especially with the Universal Championship at the time on Raw having the red strap. So then you've got the black onyx stones. You can see here, even with machines, nothing is perfect. So you can see here some of the gaps in the stone placement going around. So it's not perfect. Stonework very rarely is in reality, but this is the standard for WWE replica belts, particularly this one. On this one, the restoning of this was done by Richard Simpson, one of the go-tos as far as restoning is concerned, so they could sit quite flush, filling up the areas. Of course, now comparing these style of stones to the onyx ones is night and day. Now, I've never seen onyx stones in person. I'd imagine they sparkle a little bit, but again, they are black, so they won't sparkle as much, I'd imagine, as clear stones. So then you've got the stones in the corners. Along with these squared stones. Now, one of the tells as far as this design, the replica and the real belt, is the corners of the stone holder places. So here you can see each angle, each corner has a very sharp point to it, as does the previous versions. But on the real one, they were more curved off, a bit like the banner sections at the bottom. So they've got a slight more curve on them, which I don't know why WWE haven't fixed that yet. It's kind of an odd one. Then you've got the background. So on this, obviously this is all cut out metal from the replica, and the background is the real leather strap by Paul Martin Belts. So you've got that beveled area, and you've got the tooling, Midwest style tooling in between each of the W sections, which for this particular belt, that meant that the light would attract, or the light would sort of reflect off of the W and be absorbed in by the black, making the W pop a lot more on television. Whereas on this version, with the onyx stones, it kind of darkens out the W, but the background itself is what actually pops up on television. So probably the biggest difference outside the stones between these two belts. One thing you'll notice right off the bat is that my custom network logo one has a really nice curve on it, which I managed to do myself. Not so much with this one because of the thickness of the plates, which, while thick, they're only a little bit thicker than the standard one. But the fact that it's also got this bottom section of that plate, it's very, very difficult to curve correctly. Now, while the one on TV currently is pretty much flat, so this would make it an accurate curve, I'd much rather have it at a nice, decent curve like this one. Not too much, not too little, but just right. Then we move on to the sidebars. So these are the standard WWE shop sidebars. These are the same ones that they've used pretty much since the word go. I think the version 2 of the Scratch logo belt, which there was 3 versions of ridiculously, the Scratch logo Big Eagle actually had better bars and had the most accurate bars. But then they reverted back to these ones for some reason. Where you've got these ones, which are much taller. These ones are from Belt Addiction back in the day. A sorely missed nameplate and wrestling accessory company. Which gives it a bit more depth to it, matching up nicely to the thickness of the plates. Then we go to the side plates. So you've got the squared stones on the side with these circular stones in each corner. Again, this part has remained, again, mostly the same since the 2013 version of the belt, the Scratch logo version. Then you've got the restone version. So again, artwork pretty much all the same. And of course, I've got AJ Styles' side plates on this one, with the blue matching up quite nicely to the stones and the streak featured on the main plate. Now let's dig into these straps. So this is where they really differ in quality. So like I said at the beginning of this video, this one has been restoned by Richard Simpson and it's on a Paul Martin Belts real leather strap. And Paul Martin, along with Miles Lewis from Main Event Belts, are the 2 best leather guys in the world, in my opinion. I've had leather from dozens of guys, and those 2 are top of the pile, in my opinion. It's not to discredit anyone else. It's just that the stuff that I've had from them, and I always tend to, as much as possible, order stuff without people knowing, like, I've got the review channel and everything else. I try to keep that stuff secret, and I've had work from both when they didn't know it was me, and it's been stellar every single time. I think what sets them apart is they really care about the quality of their stuff, and each of them has, like, I've had people tell me that they've had images of their straps sent, but because Paul or Miles weren't happy with them, they wanted to redo them. And the person buying it was like, it looks fine to me, but if you want to redo it, that's absolutely fine, which goes to show their level of commitment to quality. So you've got the camouflage shell tooling on the customized 2014 edition, whereas here you've got the plain mimic beveling and tooling across the strap, whereas the 2014 version, even the replica, just had sort of plain leather just there, allowing it to breathe a little bit, combined with the texturing behind the main plate. Whereas this one has light texturing all the way through, but no camouflage shell tooling. Then you've got the WWE logo with, again, this mimic dotted tooling, the inverted version of the circles on the main plate. Whereas here you've got the WWE logo with the Midwest background, similar to that of the main plate. And then you've got the diamond crosshatch tooling going around. I would much have preferred this style be on that gap on the WWE Championship. Again, just allowing it to breathe a little bit more. The snap box on this one has the same sort of tooling that's covered in the rest of the strap. So you've got that sort of pebble area tool, which is kind of ironic as this one, the tool used for this snap box is literally called the pebble tool. So you've got more of a classic look to that one with the bevel line and snap box area. Much the same on the other side. So you've got the WWE logo in the center with this pebbling going around. Similar with the snap box and the gold tip on the end. Whereas here, same as the other side, only a bit more elongated. So you've got the logo in the middle and you've got the Midwest style tooling and the crosshatch tooling going around, forming that rectangular box. And the beautiful beveling and pebble tooling in the snap box here. Now, as far as the straps go, they're night and day. This one, very, very flexible, very, very flimsy. Bolts in on itself, very, very straightforward. Whereas this one, bit more give in this one. So while it's managed to collapse here because of the weight of the plate, as soon as you turn it over and try to sort of bend it in sort of any meaningful way, it kind of acts like a springboard, even with the weight of the tip on the end. Whereas this one, it's got more give to it. Hang on, I'm having a malfunction here. So this one is a lot more flexible, so it'll fold quite easily on top of itself. Where that, and I'm going to be very careful here because I've had a history of clanking this tip around. Whereas that will kind of stay in place, and it's got a bit more give to it. So if I bend this over that way, you can kind of fold it in on itself for display purposes. So, and again, this one, I have actually had ones that are slightly more flexible than this, but when you've got the other comparative where you try to put it in that sort of like bent over, this is the problem with doing a review with one hand, people. This is the side that you generally don't see. I probably won't edit this out for quality purposes though, but so if I try to put this in the same kind of position, it immediately just undoes itself. Now, as far as displaying and accuracy, so my custom version has a custom leather cut, so it's a lot tighter than the real one, because I was never a big fan of this particular version when this was done by Orange County Shoppers that debuted the night after SummerSlam 2014. I didn't like the cut, so I went for a custom. This one looks very accurate compared to the one that is on TV. As far as visuals, it looks spot on, but the difference is the handling and the actual touch of it, because it still feels very plasticky when you compare it to a real leather strap. So here we have both the belts in direct sunlight. So you can see how the light reflects really well off of the textured base of the main plate. So there's a little bit of a sparkle from the stones of the new Undisputed replica. Not so much from the Onyx ones, obviously. Then when you compare it to the stones of the customized version, there's a significant difference. I've always said the big logo belts and the spinner belt, two belts that absolutely need a restoning to really appreciate the belts in all of their glory. And there you have it, guys, a direct in-hand comparison between the original style WWE 2014 logo championship and the more modern Undisputed variation of the WWE Championship. Known as Undisputed, it even says it on the main plate. However, considering the World Heavyweight Championship, Big Gold is roaming around, I'd argue that this one is very, very much disputed. Like I said in the video, guys, this one is a fantastic quality replica belt. My one is currently for sale. Anyone in the UK looking to purchase one at a discount from WWE Euroshop's price. But overall, because it's a stone heavy belt, once again, I do feel like it does need to be restoned. There are some belts out there that I feel like you can sort of skip over if they've only got maybe a dozen or so stones. But when it comes to stone heavy belts like this, there just is no substitute for either Swarovski crystals or cubic zirconias. Now, while the stones in this are a big step up from the general stock stuff that we were getting in 2014, it doesn't compare to Swarovski's, cubic zirconias, or in my personal opinion, stones found on the AEW replica belts. It just cannot touch them for my money, which is why I haven't got my AEW World Championship restoned. But that's just personal preference. I know lots of people are planning to do so. But anyway, guys, that's the first YouTube edition of Battle of the Belts. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Upcoming videos are, like I mentioned earlier, a comparison of the 2 official WWE Shop Big Eagle replica belts to see the pros and cons of each one. Anyway, guys, that's it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you as always next time.